What I'm talking about is the culture of, if you remember what happened yesterday, you haven't had enough fun. This is what the problem is. So this is the diagnosis. This is where we have gone wrong, because it entails two things. It's that you are absolutely fine to be drunk so long as you don't drive. And as a consequence of losing the inhibition, it means that it's absolutely fine to have sex with whoever happened to be next to you in the party, so long as you don't catch an STD or an unwanted pregnancy. The consequence of this on the shape of the society, the stability of relationship or the disposability of it, and then the disappearance of the family as a building block of society. But what we are drinking as well matters, because there's a huge difference between people who drink just alcohol and people who mix alcohol with drugs or even with stimulants. So now with mixing alcohol with stimulants, there's a huge problem. The drinks are not the same and the drunks are not the same. If we take the point of the drinks are not the same, when you mix alcohol with stimulants, it takes an average of extra 5 drinks for a girl to start getting wobbly on her feet to start with. So she will walk in front of you looking fine, but guess what happens next? With this mix, they are more likely to get angry drunks rather than, inverted comma, happy drunks. So there is a 200 to 300% more likely that they will drink drive, that they will sit beside the drunk driver, that they will be committing a sexual assault or be the victims of sexual assault. It's because the stimulant has got a shorter half-life, a bit of chemistry here, science. It has got a shorter half-life than the alcohol. So when it disappears out of the system suddenly with an extra 5 drinks, the girl who was walking in front of you nicely a few minutes before falls as a heap on the floor. And she thinks that her drink has been spiked. 99% of the time, her drink has not been spiked, but people will take advantage of her. So if the idea of, if you remember what happened yesterday, you haven't had enough fun, does not get challenged, and setting the bar too low with sex, which is, it's a sport, and nobody's addressing the promiscuity as a consequence, then we are failing our young people. And the problem is that this is not just a young people problem, this is a problem which carries on with the person for the rest of his life. So only 20% of the people with binge drinking problems are teenagers, and 80% above the age of 20. So they carry on with the same problem. In the past, this used to be a boys and men problem, while now it's very much girls' problem as well, because the girls used to put the brake, while now, if there are no brakes, you have all the obvious consequences. So you have now a problem of girls and boys in their early teens drinking a mix which is not just alcohol, with the obvious consequences.
Is New Zealand unique, or is this a problem around the whole world?
We are the most promiscuous country in the world, with an average number of sexual partners per girl in the study of 22. So this is as far as promiscuity. When it comes to legal drink driving level of 0.8, this is drunk by definition of other countries. So no other country in the world has got such a level, and no other country is allowing somebody who has had 7 stubbies in the last 2 hours to be driving on the opposite side of the road to children. When it comes to youth suicide, we have the highest youth suicide rate in the OECD, double that, as far as I know, of the United States / Australia. So why is this happening? Is it coincidence that these rates are there, or is there a relationship between the binge drinking culture and the promiscuity? And is the level of depression, the 1.2 million scripts of depression in 1 year for a 4 million population who are living in the most beautiful country in the world, related? I think it is dumb and stupid to think that they are not related, because I'm an eyewitness of what's happening.
It's obvious that you're absolutely passionate about this and feel very strongly that we need to be doing more. And I know you're talking to our lawmakers. Are you getting any traction with them?
There are two sides here. One is about limiting supply, and I think this was very well covered by the report of Sir Geoffrey Palmer. And the other point is about limiting demand. Limiting supply definitely will help, and I fully agree with and support the people who are trying to limit supply. But some studies have showed that unless you work as well on limiting demand, you will not succeed in the culture change. How do you challenge the culture that in the pursuit of happiness people have to be drunk or drugged or have sex with as many people as they can? You can't fight something while you are advertising and glamorizing it and idealizing it every day. But if we recognize as a society, as a country, that this is about civilization. We are not talking religion now, we are not talking even God, we are not talking evangelism, we are talking civilization. Is it a good idea to fall in the gutter and be vomiting every weekend? Is it a good idea for girls to be treated like ewes in the paddock? Or is it better for them to be loved by this special one in their life? What I'm saying is that we have been treating symptoms for a long time. We need to diagnose and treat. So people are saying Albert Makary is trying to start the Nana revolution. Yes, I'm trying to start the Nana revolution because Nana represent all what is wholesome and good and true and uncorrupt and trustworthy. And what I'm saying is that civilization has peaked at the generation of Nana, and we need to go backwards to this. So the 8 and 9 and 7 years old girl, I need her to think, who has got a better deal? And which life do I try to live? Nana or my sister who comes drunk with a different guy every weekend in bed and she's always crying and she tried to commit suicide? You have to work at all levels, from the kindy to the prime minister of the country. So the kindy child has to learn to go and tell his father or mother, I love you, but I don't like it when you are drunk, I get scared. So you are using a different tool, the love of a child, which is much, much stronger than any other worry about a police fine or suspending your license. This is the child which the parent is happy to jump in the fire to save. So you are using a different tool, love rather than fear of fine. The parents now of the lost generation who got it wrong have to have the courage to go and tell their children, we got it wrong, don't repeat our mistakes. And then the nanas and the granddads have to fill in the gap of the absent role model at home. They have to step in, hand-on appearance. You have a huge wealth of good people in the communities who are happy to jump in and fill this place for this child who doesn't have a good role model at home, before this child becomes statistics in the criminal world. Every school headmaster knows where these people are in his community. So the schools have to work with the community and use what we are best at in New Zealand to defeat and correct what we are worst at. The schools have to dissociate alcohol from sport. You cannot keep this media confusing these children by putting programs which confuse them when it comes to sex and alcohol abuse, and normalizing advertising and glamorizing it. You can't confuse a 9-year-old girl watching a program like The Bachelor or Bachelorette, seeing this girl sleeping every weekday with a different guy and then choosing, and it's all fun and games. You have ruined her. You misprogrammed her this way. And this is what David Cameron in England is talking about now. We have to stop this. I have made clear what I think the diagnosis is and what the management should be. I can't do it on my own.
Dr. Makary, thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much.